afternoon. Thank you again so much for being here. It's great to hear some of your thoughts and views on all the issues that we've talked about. So my question is specifically around economic development and how that pertains to community banks. As we've thought about the issues addressed here today, whether it's access to capital for small businesses, whether it's how do I pay for education, how do I become a homeowner, and so many other things that are considered the American dream. Oftentimes community banks can be of assistance in those areas. However, there's a huge war on community banks, especially as it pertains to the competition between small community banks, especially black banks, and the larger banks like Bank of America, SunTrust, so on and so forth. So my great-great-grandfather was one of the founders of Citizens Savings Bank and Trust, which is literally a couple of minutes down the street on Jefferson Street. We are the oldest black-owned financial institution in the country, but there's so many regulatory issues, so many issues with capital and so on and so forth that it makes it hard to continue to compete in this economic environment. So what are some of your thoughts on strengthening community banks and what resources would your presidency provide?
Yeah. So you used the phrase community development, and we were talking about economic development earlier. In our administration, we will double the size of community development finance institution funding to make sure that more capital gets out in the community. We're talking about small business formation and growth earlier. Capital is obviously fundamental to it, and community banks are closest to the entrepreneurs who can make that happen. You know the people in the community far better than Wells Fargo or Bank of America or any other large or multinational financial institution ever will. And so let's make sure that we're giving you that power to connect the capital, the lending with the people who can make the most out of it. Let's also address the other side of this, which is you had the most significant recession since the Great Depression in 08 and 09 because of the malfeasance and fraud and the bad actions of large corporate financial institutions. The response to that, Dodd-Frank and other controls to make sure that we don't ever put this country at risk systemically because of the actions of a few, were by and large the right response. To the degree that they made it harder for community banks and lenders to do their job, community banks and lenders who had no role whatsoever in producing that financial crisis, then we've got to be able to account for that. As a member of Congress, I tried to make sure that we held those who were responsible accountable and prevent them from ever causing this kind of loss and devastation again, but that we didn't unnecessarily and unwittingly punish community lenders such as yourself in the bank that you just referenced that your family started. We can probably do a better job of that, of making sure that we prioritize community lending. So we'll do that both in the amount of money that we bring in through CDFIs, and then also to the tune of tens of billions of dollars direct state grants, and then the state of Tennessee then allocates that community capital and lending. And then on the regulatory side, make sure that you've got a seat at the table to make sure that we're not keeping you from being able to get capital in the hands of those who can really use it, while not relieving the pressure from the big corporations who have the power to bring this economy down to its knees as they did before. So those would be the two sides of it that I'd look at. And again, would love for you to be at the table because you're closest to this opportunity and to this challenge. And so would love to have your help in forming the policies that would follow. Thanks for asking.